This 2021 has started with a bang, and I'm here probably a little bit early than I would typically do this video because I have gotten so many people reaching out to me asking for information, for maybe some validation as to what's happening in their own personal field. And so I decided it was time to come out with this information and maybe just broaden your perspective over what could be happening or affecting you right now. So how I want to dive into this, and we'll get into the red and blue path shortly, and we're going to condense everything into one video today. So I'll have either timestamps, or you can look for the side of the video with the red or the blue column to really jump in and just get that information if that's what you're here seeking. But I do want to explain to you what is transitioning on a bigger scale. So a lot of everything we were talking about and preparing ourselves for in 2020, when we were having to go inside, rebuild ourselves, figure out who this is, so that here and moving forward in this new multidimensional landscape, we could live connected into every level and layer and plane of awareness. And so everything that had kind of transitioned and kicked us in the butt to do that work to be ready for this year is now here. And the really interesting thing that I'm noticing, myself included, is I am struggling. I am so struggling with my old patterns, and I'm recognizing it and seeing it in everybody else out there as well. This first week of January has honestly been, it has been a year of pattern happening in 1 week, and seeing if I'm going to perpetuate the old, be in the old paradigm, act like I did before I had this awareness of what it means to be living in a multidimensional landscape. And if you remember the video at the beginning of this month, we talked about the lane changing, right? What does multidimensional mean, and how do you live multidimensional? It's as if you're driving a car on the freeway and trying to decide what lane to be in, right? You're always looking at that lane and seeing it move faster, but as soon as you get over there, it seems to slow down immediately. This is what we're talking about in how I kind of, cheeky in a cheeky manner, try and explain living multidimensionally. It's about knowing when to be in the flow, when to put on your blinker and switch lanes, when to follow the path that's moving in a slow and steady way moving forward for you, and then when it's appropriate to shift and move into the next lane. Again, this is, I've also described it, just to give you another crazy metaphor here to anchor you in, and I've also described it as from that beautiful movie Up, the dog with the collar who constantly is going squirrel, 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 and being distracted. He's talking to you, and then mid-sentence he's like squirrel, and he looks over here and he starts chasing the squirrel. That's also living multidimensionally. It's knowing when the energy has shifted, knowing that I can move forward, move forward, move forward until something disconnects me and I need to change or shift my awareness attention into something else. And humans are not programmed to live this way. We are programmed, or our old paradigm has been programmed to live a very linear fashion. It's this birth to death cycle. It is this, you clock into life, you do your 9 to 5, and then you clock out, and then you decompress and you do it all over again, and you're achieving, a goal that's set forth and marked by milestones, and we can check off how we're progressing. And that's no longer the paradigm. We are out of that linear loop. We're living in now the emotional plane of awareness. We're living in a new fabric of reality, and everybody last year got forced into living in this emotional plane. So what that means is, collectively, the energy is operating at this new vibration. So everything is happening way more intensely to show us when we're living clocked into that linear, straight line, focus here and nothing can persuade me to move outside of this. When you're moving in that kind of a way now, things are going to break down. If you're pushing full steam ahead, your health is going to break down. It's going to be physical, it's going to be emotional breakdown, it's going to be a mental breakdown. It'll hit you on one of these levels or layers now and get you to realize that you can't just go full strong willpower, full steam ahead. You have to be conscious and connected to everything that's transitioning. And so this is where a lot of us now have not truly had it's different. A lot of us have been living here, but because now the collective is at this level, because everybody is now perceiving at this level, it makes it that much stronger. It's happening quicker, it's happening stronger. When we try and plug into what used to be, it literally is dissolving, it's breaking us. It is really breaking us. And so just to address a few other things that I'm hearing or people are asking about, and to give you a few more crazy metaphors, because I like to do that. There's a lot of, because of the shift, because of this happening, there's a lot of body things, physical things that are shifting within people right now. I have been talked to by so many people who either for the first time are getting the massive ringing in the ears or that kind of dizzy lightheadedness when they're standing. And even for people who have had the ringing in their ears for years and years now, it's coming back in like sirens, like massively sirens. And we always say that this is the adjusting of the tones, the frequency shifting. It's one of those internal barometers to let you know that there's a new frequency that we're trying to find resonance with, right? And so it tends to hit us here in this ear area. And then also just physical things, the body when we're toning. So this could be step one, is noticing and really being plugged into the either higher pitch tones that are new to you, or maybe drops and some lower pitch tones, or however it's affecting you here in this area. And then that being step one. Then step two is this physical, your physical biology shifting to be in alignment to that. And so lots of eradication of things within the body that are no longer able to live within this new frequency that your body is processing and aligning to. And so lots of things coming out, purging, releasing through you. So lots of people going through some weird physical stuff right now. And again, this is happening so quick. It's like kicking people's butts. I'm getting these 911, like, what's going on with me? So I just wanted to come in and kind of share some of that. And another way to describe really how I see what's happening right now, if let's just say, maybe let's just pretend for a minute you are deaf. And then pretend for another minute that you are also blind. And you've had, you've been deaf and blind your entire existence. And now somebody drops you into New York City, right? Into Times Square, on one of the busiest hours, minutes, days of the year, and then turns on your sight and turns on your hearing, right? And what would happen to you? It would be this sensory overload, right? You would just be out, probably in shock, outside of yourself, because everything just got turned on. That is literally what's happened to humanity. We've gone from a physical experience in life, and now what's happened is another level of sensitivity. The emotional plane is where everybody's living from. The emotional plane it's an entangled plane that all of us share. We all connect through the emotional plane. We feel what other people feel. We can sense into what's happening around us. This is where the empathic qualities start to come in. When somebody's feeling bad, you're going to feel bad. When you're about to walk into your house after a long day and somebody in there is angry, you're going to start feeling those vibrations and connections as you're driving home and pull into your driveway. This is the emotional plane. It's like turning up the dial on your interconnectivity to the entire world. And look what is happening in the world. We are revving up. We are the volume, it went from a 0 to a 10. And this is now like literally, it's as if your new sensory levels, it's as if going from, deaf and blind to now everything sensory overload being awakened at once. And now people are not understanding what to do with all of this energy. And so, again, it's operating from a new level. It's now trying to learn, again, as if your eyesight and your hearing just got turned on from the first time. Now you're trying to learn how to process when all of these things are working now at the same time. And learning how to have everything stimulated at once and process the information that you need to process. And so that is where we are as a collective. That's what's happening, at least in my slice of it and what I read and what I get to see from people. And so, here at the beginning of the year, if you haven't watched already the January video, I encourage you to do that, because what I'm going to do now is kind of go into what's transitioning or what is activating for the red and blue path. And then we'll just talk about how that could be shifting and adjusting with you right now and what you might be going through. So next we're going to go right into blue path, and then after that we'll read the red path. So take a minute here if you haven't, and go back and listen to the January 1st video. And if not, stick with me and we'll start with blue path first. All right, blue path. So I haven't looked at your cards in a while. They're actually down below me today. I don't have my typical eyeline sight, so I'm going to be chin down when I'm looking at these things. And so, your mastery, again, the mastery of your path is appreciation. It's really feeling like your spiritual calling. It's being okay. It's finding that trust in yourself. It's a heart-centered connection to your high self calling, to your spiritual calling. And so it's about finding the appreciation for what you are really wanting to explore, what you feel you're destined to do, what you've been, anytime we talk about high self, crown chakra, what you've been downloaded is a word we'll use. Downloaded meaning it's impulses, it's feelings, it's truths, it's knowings that are within you. And so if you're walking blue path, this is about the heart truly becoming that trusting vessel, but also vulnerable enough to be, in alignment or connected to the pursuit of what you're here to achieve, right? So it's really about finding that appreciation in what's happening, finding, it's almost like, what do they say? Finding that golden cord that connects everything. Again, these are things that these are things that you've been guided towards. This might even be the new awakening that you found yourself really tapped into as everything's kind of transitioned and changed over the last year to get you here. And so it's truly understanding and having an appreciation for what is happening outside of you, right? Because there's an internal knowing, and now what you're trying to do is trust where and how you're being guided. And so it's appreciating the journey, even though you probably get these little tidbits, these little breadcrumbs, follow along, and then get disappointed or let down, or it didn't work out how you thought it would. And so these, again, are kind of these like hurdles. Are you really willing to trust completely in what you know to be your truth? This would be what we consider the initiation of your path. And so these little hurdles that you have to get over, that in essence, they're asking you to have more appreciation for the journey you're on, because, again, silly quote here, but it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination here for you. And that would be the big understanding of your mastery this January, is about appreciating the journey that you're going on and not being so projected into what that expectation or what you feel like you're being called for, right? It's about appreciating what is and falling in love at that level of the daily kind of click-ins. And so as we get into that for you, your new beginning, yeah, you're one of these people that are texting me in the middle of the night like 911 questions, because you're the infusion of energy, I'm so hyped up on your energy right now. The infusion of the energy that's coming in for you right here at the 10s, right? I always say it comes in right around the 10s. It seems like it integrated real quick into the month as soon as we started and said, yes, I accept Blue Path. You probably started getting a lot of this massive transformation stuff happening in your reality. But again, you know, what you're here to experience this month is the transformation. And so you're one of these people where I really do believe things in your physical should be breaking down. You're probably, again, I said it at the top of the video, one of these people texting me because they don't understand these physical things. You get something physical coming up, it's an eradication of some old pattern or family matrix thing that was connected to you that can no longer survive inside your biology anymore because your frequency is shifting higher and higher. And so these things are coming out, they're purging through you. It's a lot of physical shifting. If it's not your physical body that's changing, if you're not experiencing some of those physical changes, then I'd say look right outside at then what is physically supporting you. Maybe it's changes in the home, maybe it's changes in the career or the job. Again, there should be lots of changes going on. What we talked about is your mastery, is this appreciation over the journey. Again, if you are attached to anything that is outside of this moment, let it be known it is going to shift and change before you ever get to it. How you perceived it or thought it would, you know, the outcome of it would be. Your life is moving so fast right now. And again, a lot of, I think, and I use the word breaking down, not meaning that it has to be bad, but a lot of the structures, the physical, the change that's happening right now, a lot of this shifting is these are the hurdles, actually. These are the hurdles for you. A lot of this transformation energy is your activation. It's seeing if you're gonna treat the transformation, what's changing, physical, external, things that are, you know, constantly rapidly shifting in my field. It's like, are you going to allow that to stop you, to slow you down, to be the hurdle that your foot gets hit on and you roll over and can't keep going, right? It's like these hurdles are the things that are the experiences in your journey right now to get you to completely reconnect back to center. Find that connection to you, to center, to what you know you're following, what you know your divine guidance is. And I say that again, you know, not that you have to be in connection to any kind of divine guidance, but there's been some kind of internal guidance system, that North Star that I feel has been recently anchored for you. I mean, this could be a very long time thing, but it feels like recent clarity, recent motivation, recent energy has really propelled you forward to just go for this, right? Just put everything into it. And so as you do, and you know that this is your divinity, this is your purpose here, and you're connecting everything to it and moving through the path, these transformational moments that are coming in are the things that are literally shifting you to be more open to these new frequencies, to have this expansive outcome. This is the activation for you, but these things are also what would typically get you to lock back into the old you, the old paradigm, the old belief system, the old excuses you tell yourself, right? And so that, again, this energy is just moving so fast. Now, if we apply that, everything's been turned on for you, right? You know, you've been deaf and blind, and now you're seeing and hearing completely. Everything is so exaggerated. Everything is just so extreme in this moment. And it's all happening at once. It's, again, think about it this way. You are being now given information, not only in your physical, but in your emotional and in your mental and in your spiritual. This is what being plugged in, turned on to the multidimensional system means. So for you, going back to the top of the hour, it's about being on the freeway in your car and knowing that I'm following the path. And then as something doesn't feel right, as my lane slows down, as all the brake lights go, and I see these people going and there's 2 car lengths on the side of me, boom, blinker on and change lanes. This this is how you have to be living. Because again, your hurdles are literally physical stuff shifting and breaking down. You are going to be jumping over things over and over and over. And it's really, again, it's like if you, number one, if you slow down, if you get stagnant, if you get stuck in the lane that you're in, these are all the things that are going to keep you in that kind of old paradigm. You are moving very fast. Things are happening very quickly. Every time energy aligns and feels right, instant decision, yes or no. This is right. This is not right. It's in my path. It's out of my path. And constantly allow things to align either to you or be separated from you. And then for you, it's about staying centered and being in appreciation. If you cannot feel that vibration of love, of connection, of what does appreciation mean to you, when you can be in appreciation. To me, appreciation, I'm sitting and staring out of a big window right now, and it's like nature. When I can look at nature and feel that interconnectedness, when I can look at another human, feel the interconnectedness, you know, there's no separation. To me, appreciation is being able to be in all of it, but know what my truth is and how to navigate all of those things happening very quickly when I need to. But if I lose the appreciation, if I start getting, you know, if I start spiraling into, you know, a lack of appreciation, negativity, density, then you're too attached to something that's not even here yet, and you're not appreciating the journey. And so again, appreciation is your mastery here. That needs to be the overriding principle of everything. But what's transitioning for you is this lane changing, right? This having to constantly shift. So that is you, just a quick check-in, blue path. Next, we're gonna move to red path. Hello, red path. So what we're gonna do is we are going to check in here at the new moon, what would we call it? The activation, or the, I guess the activation, the initiation that comes in here. It's not really the initiation. I think we saved that for the full moon. But this is really the activation, the infusion of energy that's really coming in to start to work with you. It's like infusing, you know, when you get a, what is it? This is silly, but all those like oxygen bars, or those IV bars now, where you can go in and just get a hit of liquids, and it's like it makes you feel so good. That's what this new beginning is. That's what we read here at the beginning of the month as the 10s start to take off, and as that new moon energy starts to infuse us with an activation of energy to continue to go on and explore our mastery for this month. So my energy's down here. I'm only gonna look a few times, but just they're below me today, so excuse me when my head tilts down. But red path, so you know, the mastery for you this month was all about, it was about denial, right? So it's about this hypo energy in the third eye chakra. You're somebody from the past who really comes in with a hard time trusting in your own intuitiveness, within your own, you know, clairvoyance, within your own perspective, right? That anytime you are internally, this is a mental field energy. So anytime you receive information, anytime you can think or daydream or you know, create something within this mental field, that it stays here, and then there's this tendency for you to distrust or to dim your light or to let somebody outside of you tell you that's not what you should be doing or focusing on. Focus here. And so, you know, you tend to give up all of these beautiful internal knowings and truths that are connected to you, right? When we think it, it's already of our field, which means it's already connected to us and manifesting through us. But we have the potential, as that thought form comes down into the throat chakra and the heart. The throat is this internal interviewer that can deny this beautiful download, this beautiful daydream, this beautiful mental idea. The throat can say, that shouldn't be for me. Oh, I can't do that right now. Oh, I shouldn't be spending my time on that. And so anytime your internal voice, this internal judgment comes in, it can actually wipe away all of these beautiful thought forms that are collectively connected to you, because you can think it, you are already in the co-creation of it until you deny it, right? So that internal voice denying it, or the heart being fearful, not being vulnerable enough to bring it down into more of the manifesting energies, right? Because as we bring energy down through our chakra system, it manifests more physically until it's of our physical reality through the root chakra. And so for you, there's been this internal judgment, internal, denying that typically happens. And so your mastery this month is really here to help show you just how powerful your intuitive centers are. And so people on Red Path, I have no doubt in my mind that you have been thinking things, acknowledging, witnessing, daydreaming, creating in your mind, having conversations or visuals in your own mind, dreams, whatever it is. Having these intuitive knowings in your mind, I bet you anything these things are already showing up and playing out for you, because this month your mastery is all about proving to you just how powerful this collective center of the mental field is for you and how you're connected to it. So your mastery this month is all about really aligning and owning the power of your intuitive center, because in the past you've denied, you've not listened, you've allowed that intuitive sense to be either taken away from you because people outside of you tell you that can't be right, you shouldn't do this, don't put your energy there, or your own internal systems, your internal voice, your internal fear or inability to connect to it from the heart can stop you, right? Can stop you from actually allowing these things that you're thinking about to manifest. And so, Red Path, I really truly, your mastery is all about trusting yourself. And so everything that's happening to you this month is going to show up to help you find more trust, to help validate who you've been all along, to help you really start to bring some of this stuff that you've been so connected to etherically, out here, all of these brilliant ideas, daydreams, things you've wanted to do. It's about giving you these little validations over what you're thinking and how true and real these things are, so that you can go for these bigger things, right? So January is all about validation and not getting into the old patterns of your past where you distrust, where you deny yourself, and really sticking to the truth and receiving the little tiny nudges forward. So it's like you've got divine on your side. When you think something or hear something, it's then being, very quickly validated. If you're thinking about a friend, that friend calls you right away. If you're reminiscing about something, an old lover, your guys' favorite song comes on the radio. If you need to add paper towels to your grocery list and you're thinking about writing it down, that paper towel commercial will come on the TV instantly. I'm talking minute little funny things that come up to just validate how in the divine flow you are, to get you to fully trust, because you need this aspect of trust in who you are and what you're perceiving here to really help push you forward for what's happening for you, through you, for the rest of the year. So now as we get into the new beginning, so the new beginning is all about a hypersacral chakra. So we can read this two ways. The hypersacral chakra can warn us of arrogance, but it's also, in reading you in the way of your mastery coming in to say, don't get into denial, be here, stay here, be in the truth of what is, and we're going to give you these little amazing, brilliant validations that you are who you are, and to move forward, trust, just keep trusting, keep acting on what you're thinking about, because it is the way. This is the way, right? And so basically when we come into the new infusion of energy, you're getting this hyper tune into your solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus chakra is all about your identity. It's all about giving you the confidence, right? And so here, this is about really empowering you to do you, to go for what you want, to be in complete trust with who you are and what you've kind of carved out for yourself. So this is really coming into, I think, there could be a potential of it's definitely always, we're going to look at it both ways. I think the major thing that you're getting an infusion of energy on here is to really trust in yourself. And I think you are being validated here. Your identity, who you are, what you want to create, what kind of human path you want to carve out for yourself. And this is being validated through all of these tiny little things that show up to show you how in the flow you are. And so the opposite side to this would be arrogance. And so this would be your warning as this infusion of energy comes in. And so this would be, again, if we go back to the top of the video and talking about how working and now being activated and turned on at each of these levels and layers, what that can do to us is just throw us into this hyperdrive, this hyper spin, make us forget about the other levels we're operating on. Again, being deaf and blind and then having those things both turn on all at once, it totally would throw you into a sensory overload. And so for you, the potential tendency here, when you are being so validated, everything that is of your mental field being really truly validated in your path and showing up in this physical reality, it could in essence, it could have you push forward, go, trying to achieve, trying to manifest, trying to create here. And when you push so much of your energy forward, because you're getting so much validation, right? Whenever somebody receives validation, especially think about it, any boss that gives, one of their underlings some validation, a pat on the back, it makes you want to work harder. It makes you want to do more, achieve more so that you can get more validation. Humans love validation. And so here, as you start to get these validations over what you've been thinking and how these things are a part of your reality and how connected, aligned, and in the flow you are, what could happen is you start spiraling, you start going too far out, going into your future, starting to push all your energy in one direction and forgetting that you're turned on through every level and layer, that you're still driving on that freeway and need to be sensitive enough and knowing enough to know when you need to pull your energy out of that thing and put it into something new. Because when we're validated that this is the way, this is the path, y'all must be Mandalorian people, because this is the way that all keeps coming through with red path, and that wasn't anywhere on blue path. But red path, when you know that you're on the right path and you know that you're going the right way, there could be a tendency to put your blinders on and just keep going and go and do in that path. And then you're resisting all of this other stuff that's trying to get your attention and pull you into the next path that is the more aligned path forward. And so, it's a twofold system for you this month. It's like divine is wanting to validate you so much, and that validation brings in so much, confidence and energy to go for what you want, that what the tendency could be for you here, right here around the new moon, the beginning of the month, the second week of the month, right? Well, at the end of the second week of the month, right around the 10s, it's like, well, now I'm going towards that, and this is everything I have to do, and nothing else matters, right? And when you do that, you will miss all of these other opportunities. Again, it's being so overstimulated by everything that, again, eyesight, hearing being turned on for the first time ever, you're now so overstimulated and there's so much coming in at once that you just are spending energy, and it's spinning your wheels, and it's honestly, it's doing nothing for you, because you'll be putting your energy into a lot of false potentials that don't have your best interest at heart. And so again, it's a beautiful thing that you have coming in. You're getting a lot of validation, it seems like, but with that validation, you're probably one of these people who energetically feel like you just got shot out of a gun or a cannon, right, into the new year, where, blue path was more physical triggers, things happening, 911 calls, and 911, to friends and stuff. What's happening to me? Where it's like, I feel like you are just kind of almost have this superhero energy, but that's gonna sputter down. It's going to have you spending so much energy. The false timelines, the false, it's just putting your energy into so many false realities that in essence won't be the truest thing that serves your highest, greatest good. So this is not only an infusion to give you confidence, but it's also kind of a test here to make sure that when you're given so much confidence and energy to go for now everything you've been thinking about, because hopefully you're living in the mastery and not denying it, that you're allowing it all to come in. And I'm going to remind myself to talk about denying it at the solar plexus chakra level. So as long as you're doing this in your full steam ahead, you're trusting your thoughts, you're getting the validation, and you have the energy, it's still being sensitive enough to be able to witness everything through these different levels and know when your energy needs to shift, when you need to have that squirrel moment and chase something else because there's no more energy in what I've been doing. So let me pull my energy out of this and put it over here. Even though I got so much validation on this, right now I'm not feeling it. There's something missing. So I'm just gonna put that on the back burner and I'm gonna be open to whatever's next. And then for you, it's about waiting for that next validation, waiting for that next inspiration, and then moving into that. And then whatever's on the back burner will come back into the picture when everything's timed and in the right timing, in the right alignment. So if we take this down and see what happens, right? Because you're all about this manifesting flow. You've been somebody who I think has had really big dreams, had lots of insight, intuition, perspective, but for whatever reason, you just have a hard time completely trusting or bringing what is so heavy in your head into physical manifestation. I'm sure you do, but not as much as you could if you 100% trusted in yourself all the time. And so in essence, for you, living on this path, one of the things that if you now are here at this new beginning, and we come down to the solar plexus chakra level, which is what transitions for you here at the new beginning, and there's a denial here, this could actually come up for you in like, if you're getting really down on yourself, if you think there's something wrong with you, right? Because again, if you've been trusting, if you've been living in the mastery, you're kind of trusting what you've been thinking about, trusting about what you want to create. Your internal voice has kind of interviewed the whole thing, and found a few holes, but couldn't take the energy away. So your inner voice is in agreement that, whatever you've been thinking should be manifested through you. You should act on it. And then your heart got vulnerable enough and ended up spending some of its energy and want, right? You started to invest this energy from the heart to go for what you want. And now as it settles down into the solar plexus chakra, here at this new beginning in the month, how this could be taken away, or how you could know if you're jeopardizing this. What might happen is if you start distrusting yourself, if you start questioning you, the human, what happens if I do this, what I've been thinking about? What happens if I really go for it? And you start to think about the human you. I'm not smart enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not powerful enough. I don't have the right connections. If you start saying all these negative I statements, if you hear yourself getting into negativity over I statements, like, I can't do it, I don't have the energy, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources. If it's I in your head right now, know that you are in the dysfunction of what's trying to move through you as a surge of power in your solar plexus chakra. And so what's happening is your solar plexus chakra is under a microscope right now. You're getting a lot of attention on you. You're getting fueled with a lot of energy. And if you are somebody who's kind of using these I statements and thinking you're not good enough or whatever, I with negative, anything attached to it, you are actually resisting the confidence, the infusion, that surge of energy that's coming in to actually have this manifest for you. So again, finding a way to fake it until you make it. If you're really getting stuck in some of the negativity, self-doubt, self-negativity, any of this, change that tone. Even if you don't believe it, fake it till you make it here. You got to get through and use this energy that's coming in a way that's going to serve your highest and greatest good. So that is just a really quick check-in for red and blue path, because so many people are like, you know, there's just so much going on. Again, if I can just sum this up, it is honestly, we have all been turned off on so many of these levels and layers, you know, deaf and blind to the energetic connection that happens between all beings and how interconnected and tangled we all are. And so what just happened at the beginning of this year, the entire collective got popped into this reality. It actually happened in August, but we've been shifted into it. And so now what's happened is we're all plugged in, we're living from this new reality. The lights just got turned on, the sounds just got turned on, and we are all overstimulated here at this beginning of January and just like, what is happening? And trying to make sense of all these things we're thinking, feeling, sensing, perceiving, actually living from. And so that's where we are, and it's gonna stay like this. This is your entire 2021. So learn how to work with it now, and you're learning how to work with it through your mastery. So, you know, blue path, you're needing to appreciate what is happening in the moment. You need to be in appreciation. If you can't find yourself able to feel that interconnectedness between all things, you're clicked out and you're gonna be spiraling. Red path, your mastery is about trusting. It's about trusting what you're thinking and being able to be grounded enough to see the validation as it comes in. So with light and love, my friends, until maybe the end of the month this month.
If what you seek is seeking you, then what are you looking for?
There's a part of you that wants to expand, it wants to grow, and it wants to feel much better than it already does.
This membership program offers courses to change your reactions and tools to expand your perspective.
They're tools. They're just trying to amplify what's already there, make you a better version of self. This is the first time I felt full in my entire life.
Guided meditations and live interactions will bring validation.
Going through these rebirths or this evolution, this form of change, this shift, it is the most exciting part.
Explore your potential, embrace your gifts, and empower your life.